Stoic Ancient. Dear everyone, this is the first time I share about how to communicate and integrate into society. Just like the previous content, it is completely very practical, especially young people who have just entered life. They should know that many people have struggled in society until now but still have not achieved anything or think that they have not achieved anything. We admire successful people in society, admire rich people. Besides, we admire every luxury car that flies by. We often have this thought, strange, why am I struggling so badly? That's right. Why am I struggling so badly? The guy in class is not as good as me. Why is he so successful now? Let's put aside that jealous look and let me show you how to struggle in society. This content is only for those who are struggling in society. That is, those who work hard but do not earn much, do not have a high position, suffer a lot of damage, have no way out ahead, no one to support them. The future is unclear, goals are unclear. I know life, you're very busy, even though what I say is not easy to absorb, especially very difficult to grasp. If you only listen once, my advice is to watch to the end, listen to it again and again when you are free or doing housework. Share and save the playlist for your convenience. I am sure within a few short months your thinking will develop to a new level. This content is divided into 3 parts, including part 1, making friends and positioning yourself, part 2, marriage and career orientation, part 3, how to work and the art of giving gifts. Today I will talk about part 1 first. Making friends is a basic requirement when rolling around in society. A person's life cannot be lonely for 100 years. Always need friends. If you want to be a normal citizen, just need to obey the law, then you can make friends as you want to make friends. If you don't want to, then let them go. But if you want to make a name for yourself in society, then you must have a choice in making friends, must have a clear purpose when making friends. For normal people in your circle of friends, must have at least 1 doctor, 1 lawyer, 1 minor official, 1 teacher, and 1 gangster. Why do I say that? Actually, these friends are rarely used in the circle of ordinary people, mostly colleagues, classmates, neighbors, because those are the people we often meet, go out drinking, sing, and take a sauna with. If there is no clear purpose, who would go make friends with a lawyer or a gangster? Doctors, lawyers, and teachers seem to be rarely used, but they will be the ones to save you in an emergency. Some people can save your life when you go to the doctor. Having a friend who is a doctor is a good thing because you will save a lot of unnecessary expenses, use medicine and medical supplies more reasonably, not to mention getting care from a good doctor. That is the real help needed. The role of a lawyer is known to everyone. When you are in trouble, they can help you effectively. And the police, needless to say, are constantly rolling around in society. How can they not get into trouble? Confiscated vehicles, people are checked, things like that. Have a friend working in the industry will help you avoid a lot of trouble. The role of teachers for people with young children is very important. Some people say that knowing ordinary doctors, teachers, police is useless. For example, when you have eye problems, your friend is an ENT doctor, can't help you. Want your child to learn more English, but the literature teacher can't help. Those who raise this problem are people who will definitely struggle poorly in society. Don't these people have their own circle of friends? The ENT doctor can't find an eye specialist. The literature teacher's colleagues don't teach English. When you make friends with these people, actually you are also in contact with people in their circle, can meet more middle-class people. Isn't that a better opportunity for you? And for officials and gangsters, having a friend who is an official, even if he is just a grassroots civil servant, the benefits are countless. Of course, the bigger the position, the more benefits, but the success rate is also lower. As for why you need a friend who is a gangster, many people do not understand that it is actually very simple. In today's society, many things in daily life using these friends to solve are easier and more effective than any other method. But you cannot use them indiscriminately because the consequences are also very large. Nothing is free, only gain without loss is impossible. Specifically, you should consider the ratio of benefits and costs. Calculate carefully. Remember that the higher the configuration, the better. If you can have friends like tycoons, high-ranking officials, business owners, or powerful figures, even Bill Gates or Barack Obama, then it is no longer about struggling in society, but play with the next society. How to make friends with the friends you want in life is not difficult. Just afraid that people's hearts are not patient. Making friends wanting to have soulmates immediately is impossible. But if you have the right strategy, at least you can make friends with social friends for those who have the purpose of reaching the level of social friends is already good. Making friends has no secret. It depends on drinking together and hobbies. These are two shortcuts. To make friends after a drinking session, at least you are familiar with each other when you have talked a few times and drank together, not fake friends but sworn brothers for some other people. If you make friends based on your hobbies, the possibility of success is very high. People cannot live in this world without hobbies. If you think that a person has no hobbies, it means you have not discovered it yet. If that person likes to eat, drink, go out to eat and drink with them. If they like to sing and dance with them. If they like to pretend to be elegant and play art, discuss poetry with them a few times like that. You don't have to worry that they won't consider your sister as a close friend. At least they will consider you as someone with the same interests. There are two important details when making friends: knowing how to spend and listening. If you have the ability to observe and evaluate others, then even better. Knowing how to spend here means knowing how to spend money. If you want to make friends who have few but are too stingy, then you can only continue to struggle. Another important point is listening. This is really important. Why do leaders like meetings so much? Because they have a bunch of people listening to them talk. This is so refreshing. Why do psychiatrists almost become friends with every patient? Because they can restrain themselves from interrupting when the patient is talking endlessly. Instead, they show themselves to be attentive listeners. In an increasingly fast-paced society among increasingly selfish people, how many people are willing to listen to you when you learn to talk less nonsense and listen more patiently? You have begun to be calm, and your friends will increase. How to get acquainted with friends in different professions sounds unbelievable, but it's actually very simple. Americans once did an interesting experiment. They wanted to see how many relationships a random person normally has to go through to be able to get acquainted with an entertainment star or a high-ranking political figure through countless Experiments they found that a random stranger only needs a maximum of 8 relationships to be able to find that star or politician. These relationships are basically the type of friend of your father knows a relative of that star, but certainly everyone can find these people through relationships if stars can find. Then what about ordinary people in different professions? How to build a network of relationships based on yourself when you have grasped many sources of friends if you don't use or only use when really necessary. It's a waste. Anyone who is successful in society is someone who knows how to take advantage of every opportunity on the surface. They can be people that ordinary people see as talented, can solve things that ordinary people cannot do, or find people that others cannot reach. These people are like Spider-Man, is good at weaving a network of relationships with themselves as the center. How to weave this network? Simply put, it is a combination of the skill of moving Kan and moving flowers to connect with wood. 2 skills in martial arts, using the relationship of a fake friend to help a real friend, and then using the relationship of a real friend to help another friend. Sounds good, but in reality it is very complicated. If you do not do it well, you will easily offend both sides, so the majority of people feel annoyed and therefore are still just ordinary people. Weaving this network is the job of a big manager, but once successful you will benefit a lot when you skillfully build it. Be careful to measure and act cautiously. Create many successful examples. Gradually you will realize that the ability to handle work yours has surpassed your thinking ability. Note: do not blindly follow any rules and principles. A quote from a famous businessman: never bow down to difficulties in this world. No matter what the difficulty, there is always a way for you to go through, overcome, or avoid. I really like this quote and have solved many problems that seemed insurmountable, but in the end still find a way, either go through, overcome, or avoid. How to maximize your own benefits. The real goal of making friends for benefits is to achieve the smallest investment and the greatest benefit. Some generous friends like to help others, but when in trouble they are afraid to ask others for help because of pride. This is really stupid. The basic function of friends is to help each other, even to some extent. Helping each other is also a link that maintains a friendship. You know a friend, but only think about helping them without asking them for help in return. Do you want to be Lei Feng, a famous person for his altruism and doing good deeds until death? In fact, when you often ask for help from friends, the next time they need your help, they will feel more comfortable. The relationship between the two sides will not be hindered or awkward. When you do this regularly, friends can develop into close friends. This is a very subtle psychological relationship, so take advantage of it skillfully. There is another situation when you have a fake temporary friend who really needs 10,000 tons of smokeless coal, and another real friend of yours sells smokeless coal. But these two people do not know each other. In this situation, what will you do? Someone will say that, isn't it enough to just introduce them to each other? If you think so, congratulations, you have understood half of the correct way to do it. Need to emphasize all the difficulties in front of temporary friends, but also show that you will try your best to help them. Similarly, you also need to emphasize all the difficulties in front of real friends, but show that you will also try your best to help them. Eventually you can profit from arbitrage, and at the same time you have two more close friends. Other situations can also apply this approach. If you do it in the long run, you will definitely succeed. So analyze the situation and choose the way to do it to maximize the benefits. Note that giving examples is very easy, but to really do it well and everything is not easy at all. Playing with fire and walking on a tightrope can help you reach new heights. That is the successful integration into society. How to treat friends in different ways. The basic sequence is as follows: sincere friends, excellent friends, close friends, friends with benefits, normal friends, sincere friends. These are the friends that everyone needs, but not everyone can really have in life. Everyone only needs 1-2 true friends are enough. If someone says they have a dozen true friends, you are too thoughtful. These friends are the ones you can confide in, the ones who will help you unconditionally when you are in trouble. Are the ones at the top of your phone contacts, are the ones who will come right away when you call in the middle of the night, when your car breaks down, are the first ones you think of when you need a bailiff, when you are in trouble with the police. Excellent friends, these are people like the chairman of a real estate corporation, the secretary of the city party committee, or people you believe are your friends after you are sure of it. These are the types of excellent friends. Close friends, similar to very good friends who have a relationship second only to true friends and are also very few in number. These are friends you can lend money to, and the amount of the loan will depend on the closeness of the relationship. Friends with benefits, these are the friends mentioned above. Are normal friends, this is a broader range including casual acquaintances from just friends meet casually to the people you meet and nod hello. All can be normal friends. This type of friends most cannot lend money but can lend a little, and if lend then do not expect to receive. Self-cultivation when integrating into society. How to perceive self-worth. When mentioning this issue, many people will not be able to self-control but associate it with education level, work experience, professional skills. How to certificate achievement. Study abroad, talent, playing Go, calligraphy, painting, and qualities that are valued by society. In reality, thinking according to the inertia of traditional education is wrong. In society, everyone is not completely nothing. Everyone has their own unique skills. For example, simply knowing how to drink alcohol is also a skill. These orthodox skills, these certainly improve a person's quality in a certain field, but they are not all in integrating into society. Their greatest effect is as a ticket for you to enter society. They only prove that you are excellent in a field, very small area in the past or not, but absolutely cannot prove your worth in the future society. We often see in a social unit there are people complaining that they graduated from a top university. Excellent working ability, but why? Cannot be compared to someone who is only good at flattery, completely useless. Actually, this can be understood simply as follows: your degree from a prestigious university cannot be compared to a flatterer who knows how to create relationships with leaders in the small environment you are living in. The only skill you have is not suitable for this environment. Sounds cruel and discouraging, but I am just telling the truth. Social education is very different from school education. What I want to say is, why do you always complain? Why cannot you be the person with a prestigious university degree, the reputation of having excellent working ability, and also being a talented flatterer will probably be despised by some people and said it's really boring. I would rather die than do such shameless things. Being a flatterer is not far-fetched, and flatterer is not a bad word. Some people feel inferior because they only graduated from junior high school and are not good at studying. All day long they just drink, play cards, surf the web, and play beer. They think that they only know how to play online games and dance. They don't know how to do anything else. These words are a bit extreme. I always think that people need to discover their own strengths and weaknesses. You said that knowing how to play cards is a strength or a weakness. You want to make friends with others, but in previous years you only focused on studying and intentionally avoided hobbies like gambling or online games and pursued things that you thought were meaningless, so you didn't know anything about them. I want to ask, in this society, is it easier for someone who knows how to communicate and knows a little bit about everything to make friends, or is it easier for someone who is smart but doesn't care about entertainment? Will make friends easier. Some people will say study is above all other things, come second. Isn't that good in your words? I just need to worry about playing. Don't get me wrong, what I mean is the vast majority of people in society are ordinary people. The path of study is only suitable for a few people with natural talent. If you don't become a scientist, eventually you will have to integrate into society, and society knowing how to play cards is as important as having a level 6 English certificate. The reason you understand that study is important is because your parents, teachers, and friends have taught you for a long time, but before entering society you don't know how to question this. End of this part 1. Want to use the truth to say, if you look at the ancient kings you will see they are basically divided into two types. One part is the blood heirs who were born with a silver spoon in their mouths and became king. The other part is mainly people with low backgrounds, from vagabonds, poor people to swindlers, thugs. They have nothing in their hands, so they dare to challenge and fight. They have nothing to lose, so they have boundless courage. They have no knowledge but have wisdom, so they have achieved great success. And the extremely intelligent people know how to study and read books well, live a comfortable life, but never get rich. What are they doing? They are strategists, are civil servants, are teachers like Jia Kak Luong or No Vin. But why don't they become emperors, similar to the big bosses, directors in today's society, who are, how many of them are alumni of the University of Science or the University of Economics? It is not rare to see a CEO with a junior high school education, and under them are people with doctoral degrees. But if you analyze carefully, except for some heirs, among the founders of the first generation of businesses, most do not have a high education. If there are, they are also people who have studied later. Without exception, they are all people with courage and wisdom. Doesn't this explain the problem? I do not intend to say that everyone must achieve success like them. Their success is not only due to their own efforts, but also due to the great opportunities of the times and the opportunities in their own small environment. Both are indispensable. I just want to say one thing: in this large society, a high level of education does not mean high quality, and the ability to drink well does not mean high quality. Nothing is permanent. Being appreciated by leaders or bosses for high professional skills and being appreciated for the ability to drink also brings similar results and benefits. The important thing is how to position and promote one's own qualities, How to find the right position and field. Let's talk about how to position one's own qualities. Human qualities depend on many factors, but in society, in terms of individuals, a perfect personality is the leading factor, while intelligence is only second. A perfect personality includes many aspects, but mainly two main points are not expressing emotions and observing subtlety. Not expressing emotions means moderate control of emotions. Your emotions and personality, you need to understand your abilities. Know clearly the role you are playing in each situation. Not too happy or discouraged. Try to promote your role optimally. Subtle observation is the ability to observe others in communication, understand their personality and abilities, their strengths and weaknesses from there. Choose the appropriate way to behave. These two things are very difficult to do, especially self-control is really difficult. You should start with small things. Turn these two things into habits. Gradually over time you will become more mature in the eyes of others. Some small skills. New adults or inexperienced people often feel like they don't know how to communicate with all kinds of people in society. They feel like they talk a lot with friends of the same age, but when facing people who are not, like an older boss or a taxi driver, there is nothing to say. In some situations, there are people who even meet for the first time and talk very well together while you feel there is nothing to say. This situation is normal. Everyone starts from this step. Here I do not want to teach everyone how to find common ground between the two sides or pursuing the complex words of others. The simplest way is to observe how a good communicator speaks, how to bring up new topics continuously. At first, just observe and learn to imitate. Finally, even if you make small mistakes, it is okay. Be persistent. Gradually, your communication skills will improve significantly without you realizing it. When you reach a level of maturity, you will look at your qualities more rationally. Do not underestimate yourself, but also do not overestimate yourself. You will know how to distinguish between true and false compliments from others and be confident when facing criticism or contempt from others. On this basis, you will handle everything with confidence. Subtle plan and carry things out steadily and strongly. Mature and higher levels. Higher maturity is subtlety. Closer to subtlety is cunning, and more cunning is that you don't know and can't see through who that person is. This type of person is called a ghost, often seen in important positions in politics, school and business. Position your own job. There is no bad job, only the wrong position. This sentence is true but has no meaning. Like I said, you are a human being. That is true but has no value. Many people after graduating find that they can't find a job in the field. I have studied some people who work for a while, then realize that they can't stand that job, and then they fall into a state of searching, struggling between a job that is not suitable for their major, or the job they love. Has a very good advice for you. Is the result of postgraduate research from this social school, which any top university can't. Teaching before 25 years old. No need to fix a career before 30 years old. No need to fix a job after 37 years old. It is not easy to change environments before 25 years old. No need to fix a career. What is it like even if you major in environmental technology in college? You will not necessarily have to work in the environment later. Who knows? You can play the piano very well, and a bar wants to hire you as a pianist. That is also a job, and you do not need to regret that the university years are useless. In Vietnam today, the specialization in university training has significantly decreased. A computer science student, when graduating, may not know the difference between different types of RAM or be able to write the simplest looping program. A medical student who studies for 4 years may not gain as much as when doing a 1-year internship. Before 25 years old, you can completely start over in a new field because you are young and have the ability to endure failure. Before 30 years old, no need to fix a job. What is it like? How before 30 years old you need to clearly define a career such as real estate sales, become a teacher or a speaker, because these careers all require a lot of time and effort to get used to and grasp. However, the workplace and working hours do not need to be fixed. You can change jobs after thinking carefully until you find a company or organization that you are satisfied with. Even though you are not too young, you still do not have many burdens. So you can dare to challenge after 37 years old. It is not easy to change the environment. How after 37 years old, your life path in the condition of no major events has basically been shaped. I believe that at this time you have also achieved some prestige and status in your field. The most important thing is that your family is stable. Children are born, parents are old and weak, and you gradually become the pillar of the family. In this situation, caution is not a bad thing. The above are general rules in the situation. Normally, if there is a special situation, there will be exceptions. Someone asked me, I have the skill, I have that ability, you think I should do this? Is not an easy question to answer. The opportunities each person receives are not the same. A graduate from the University of Science and Technology can also sell pork yourself, analyze your personality and ability, see if you are suitable for a certain job. For example, going to buy bread at midnight to make a late night snack. Some people just buy it and go home while eating. Think about the game. Some people pay attention to whether today the bread is thick or thin, big or small. Did I buy it wrong? But some people pay attention to the bread. Business is very good these days, wondering how much profit the seller can make after deducting monthly expenses. And are there similar stalls around? What the number of customers is, how many people buy and sell. Congratulations. The last person, you have a little business sense. Why KFC rarely closes in Vietnam is because their market research and pre-research is the same as the way you did how to develop yourself. First, I want to ask a very classic question. If tomorrow you are paralyzed looking back on your previous life, will you feel regret? I think most people will more or less regret some aspects. Some people regret not studying hard. Some people regret not conquering the person they like. Some people regret missing a certain opportunity. Many articles have said that regret is useless and you should look forward. This is nonsense words. Everyone knows that regret is useless. The important thing is how you do not feel regret. I think that even if you spent your previous time playing games, neglecting your studies and love, that is not necessary to regret, because you found joy while playing games. Found joy. How many people want find a pure joy but cannot find? When you can possess the joy, then your life is complete. Finally, enjoy the joy is the ultimate. Never consider working hard. It is normal in 100 short years. How much time belongs to yourself? I do not advise people to be negative. In reality, when you live a normal life, you have contributed a part of your strength to society. Drugs bring a feeling of extreme excitement, but this joy comes at the cost of life. Should not choose. Alcoholism also has the same nature, so need to pay attention. So regretting the past time depends entirely on your understanding. In reality, I always feel that God is fair. He closes this window of yours, but will definitely open another door. For example, we often sympathize with people with intellectual disabilities, thinking they are pitiful, but in reality, in their pure soul's joy exists much more than us. When you are sure you do not regret this, it doesn't mean you should continue to indulge, but you have to throw away the mental burden and live better from now on. Try to find a higher level of satisfaction when you look back on the past with a regret-free mindset. Only then can you clearly see the weaknesses in your character, understand past failures. You can maximize the possibility of avoiding failure in the upcoming journey. Reminiscing is a way of self-examination, and summary: regret brings nothing but depression. I really like young people who have experienced many failures because they are often more mature and resilient than their peers. Children who have a smooth life often appear quite arrogant and vulnerable. I even advise children who are excellent from childhood to adulthood to learn the most important lesson in life is failure. This failure is not getting a good grade and crying because you can't buy a designer bag, but failures that can almost destroy your spirit, causing extreme suffering. Children who overcome this pain and rebuilding the spiritual foundation will become very strong. The language may seem cruel, but the focus is to emphasize the importance of failure and hardship. A person who is always successful, once encountering failure, will suffer a big shock. Never even stand up. Today, many young people have an anxious mentality. They always want to succeed quickly or become successful. They always want to seize an opportunity to immediately overcome the current difficult situation. They always want to do something big. Just mentioning the two words startup is extremely excited. I do not want to reduce this precious enthusiasm, but I really hope you can prepare thoroughly, including every little detail. The most important thing is to prepare mentally for failure. For inexperienced startups, a detailed plan is more important than any opportunity that seems reasonable but uncertain. After talking a lot to lead, now I want to talk specifically about how to improve your own capacity in social practice to progress in society. In real combat society, the president of Peking University said in the graduation ceremony, pay attention that in the graduation ceremony, not the opening ceremony, that society is not completely fair. Society will not wait for you to grow up. It will not care about the big psychological gap between school life and society. One thing you need to do is choose your skills. For example, if you are a person from the countryside to work, you need to be aware that if I do this job for a long time, besides money, what else can I get? I have met people working in an electronics factory. Their job is to attach a few electronic components and a circuit board day in and day out. This job can bring you a salary, but almost nothing else. When the factory closes, you also lose your job. Life like that. You is 100 years, then you are still just a worker, normal, without any skills. You must have the consciousness to learn, consciously develop skills to advance. In 1 year, A and B, one person works in an electronics factory, one person learns welding. 5 years later, A is still a worker in an electronics factory, and B has learned how to weld a pair of needles with a high success rate, and his status has surpassed. This is the result of a job with a future and the combination with learning, you know what I mean. Even if you only have the lowest level job, you should try to find a job where you can learn something and have a strong desire to learn. Except winning the lottery, this is the most realistic opportunity for you to improve your situation. The second thing is you must learn to be patient. There are people who are very impatient. Doing any job cannot last long. Learning anything, always give up halfway. This is a taboo habit in the company. Work hard, learn the necessary skills step by step. 2. Achieve certificates. It is necessary that the boss or the teacher who is strict with you is not a fool. When you can endure enough and gradually grow up, you will notice that their attitude towards you is also gradually changing because they realize that you have become important, and then you will look back outside. Many companies are calling you. High positions with high salaries are no longer a dream. One morning you wear a neat and polite suit and put your resignation letter in front of your boss. His face will definitely look different from when you angrily leave after a big argument. I believe that as long as you choose the right goal, persistently pursue, and put in sweat and tears commensurate with your achievements, your results will exceed expectations. And what I say here are all things that everyone can do. I wish you perseverance and soon reap success.